which is usually done when the driver's going about 35, 40 miles an hour. That would be taking the police vehicle, tapping and spinning
We
the
got a
driver
runner.
so that they are essentially out of control and have to stop. Another thing that you would do on a side street is potentially lay down spike strips so that the driver drives over the spike strips. It hurts the wheel of the vehicle and essentially disables it. Both of those things are almost impossible to do on a freeway with a driver moving this quickly. As we now head onto the 210 West in the San Gabriel, a freeway change. So there really aren't that many options for law enforcement that, in terms of a safe way to end this pursuit on the freeway for them at this situation. Often the easiest and the safest thing is to basically just let this person go while keeping an eye on them from the air. So the reason you see that spotlight, that is from enforcement helicopter who is shining a spotlight on the driver, we think a female driver of this pickup truck, as it continues to move in the San Gabriel Valley, and that they can follow that way. And of course, they're spending time radioing to folks on the ground, and they're all watching this, and I'm sure they're watching the various TV channels that are doing this as well, so that they can get to this driver if this driver were to pull off the freeway and stop somewhere. Will that happen here? Let's see. Are we about to get off the freeway? So we're on getting off here. It looks like the Central Avenue exit, Mountain exit. Looks like we are we transitioning freeways? Are we getting off the freeway here? And now you could have a situation where there are those other options. Are they going to turn around and get on a different freeway? Are we now going to spend some time on side streets? You wonder in this sort of scenario as they do an intersection here, is this a neighborhood that they are familiar with? Oftentimes you will see the drivers return to their home towns where they might be able to go to their mom's house or go to a friend's house, or some other person can help crash their vehicle. We are now in the Monrovia area of the upper San Gabriel Valley, and let's see where we head now. Making a left-hand turn. We're going under which is the 210 freeway there. And are they going to stop?
He doesn't have a lot of options at this point.
Jonathan, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, he doesn't have. If he had, further west, you'd have, I think, the 19. But he's in a spot where just sides.
You know how often we see that happen. No, we haven't seen any flashing lights in quite a while. Again, LAPD did have a couple of units dedicated to this pursuit when we first picked it up off the top, but they have since pulled back completely. LA County Sheriff doing a bulk of the work here until CHP can get into position. They are tracking this from above. They are probably almost guaranteed watching our stream right now, and so they are attempting to get into position here any minute. I think we will start to see some CHP units eventually. It's just a matter of those guys working their way through traffic as well. Coming up on the entrance ramp there, now getting back on to the 210 freeway, and this will put her onto the eastbound side, Colleen. Yeah, it's surprising to say the least, especially on a night like tonight. You know, we're on the eve of a very busy travel day tomorrow. I can tell you that tonight has seen more traffic than we have seen all week since that fire happened on the 10 freeway, and as a result, all of the surrounding freeways have been bumper to bumper as far as the eye could see tonight. And now she is joining the rest of those folks leaving downtown LA, heading home through Pasadena, through the San Gabriel Valley on the 210 freeway, now over the Gore Point, back on the 605, taking the 605 southbound. So starting to retrace some of her steps here because traffic was just going to slow down on her. She was really going to be bumper to bumper in just another quarter mile because of all that get-home traffic. So now decided to get onto the 605 freeway, a clear indication that she may be making this up on the fly here. I just don't get the feeling that she has a clear idea on where she wants to take this. In any event, though, CHP has now pulled into position from above. We do have a CHP helicopter entering the picture here. LA County Sheriff still right overhead, providing that night sun, and we'll start to look for more of those ground units here again in the next couple of minutes. It takes time to triangulate those units through all that busy traffic to get them into the area. So we'll see if they pop up behind her here in just a minute, and we'll see what the driving looks like over the next several miles, if she slows down at all, if she acts more agitated, less agitated, or if she hits anybody else. Again, to recap, we've already seen one minor collision that we're aware of early on in this pursuit. She basically ran up against somebody's fender bender, another pickup truck actually, that she slid into, and now she has slowed down a little bit, basically going with the flow of traffic here on the 605.
I know I should have put my damn Ferrari hat on for this one. Son of a bitch.
No, we don't know. We really don't know a lot other than the fact that this is a stolen vehicle, but something tells me there's more to it. However, we're still only seeing limited resources dedicated to this pursuit, so we already know that LAPD was fine enough just letting it go, handing it off to the LA County Sheriff's Department, so it wasn't serious enough for LAPD to continue it out of their jurisdiction, but still, we'll see. Here comes that CHP unit. Here comes that CHP unit, the first primary unit to join the pursuit here since we have hit the bottom of the hour here, and now she'll have a little bit of pressure coming up from her rear left flank. There is California Highway Patrol with the lights and sirens on, code 3, back in pursuit mode as that unit, ooh, look at that, they've turned the lights off. They've turned the lights off, so this is not a pursuit technically, but they are now following the suspect with the lights and sirens off. No longer code 3, this is now firmly in tracking mode, but they're going to continue to track as to not agitate her further. I think the driving was slowing down to a comfortable speed that they don't want to spook her too much. Right now, if she gets off the freeway, they can safely follow from a distance and eventually execute a felony stop if they can get units into position here. But she has now exited the freeway at Lower Azusa Road, just off of the 605. The the CHP helicopter now providing the light from above. One unit right behind her. They will almost certainly call for backup before they light her up again. But right now, it does look like the driving is slowing down ever so slightly here. The composure is a little bit better behaved. You can see she's not really attempting some of those wackier moves that she was earlier on, where she was just weaving across all lanes and just driving very erratically. Now it looks like she's just a little bit more under control here. So we'll see how close that primary unit gets. He's about maybe a couple hundred feet back, I would say. Still continuing. That was a red light, I think, that she just ran, if I'm not mistaken. We have to re-rack that. It looked like a red light that she ran. That CHP unit made it as well. He actually ran it, I think, unless it had just turned green. I'm really not sure, but it looked like it was red by my eye. And now it looks like maybe she's attempting to get off of Lower Azusa Road in that turn lane. No, she's just using going the wrong way on Lower Azusa Road. So she's just going around this traffic using that median, going the opposite direction over the double yellow lines, where there is now a little bit of traffic ahead of her on Lower Azusa Road. Once again, you see her pushing the pedal to the metal on the oncoming lanes of traffic. That is certainly going to attract the attention of CHP as they try and get more units in position. Yeah, we can't really tell. I mean, it does look like it's not necessarily a work truck. There is some stuff in the back. I saw a spare wheel and maybe some other tools, maybe a cooler as well. So it was hard to tell, but there are several items in the back there that she's hauling off of Peck Road, now onto surface streets here, again off of Peck, now coming up on Peck Road off of Mulhall. So she did a little circle there. CHP lighting her up now, and I expect that they'll pull up much closer on her, close up behind her, because now that she's really ramped things up, especially once she went into those oncoming lanes of traffic, it really it makes it all the more urgent for them to get her off the road. So I think that's going to really change the tactic of that primary officer, probably just waiting for more backup before they pull up closer, closer behind her, I should say, Colleen, here on Peck Road. She is now in rush hour traffic along Peck Road, and now you see that primary unit only a few car lengths behind, lights and sirens blaring, night sun overhead. CHP now desperate to get her off the road. Another red light through the red. Light just turned green. Now that two CHP units will go through that intersection with her. And now with two units behind her, we may see an attempt at a pit, or if they give the go-ahead, or something else. We'll see what happens here. But certainly the pit maneuver is an option if there is a wide open enough stretch of Peck Road. We're not seeing that just yet. You see a lot of traffic ahead of her, but if there's an open stretch and they give the go-ahead at one of these empty intersections, certainly that is an option that they will employ here. You see that primary unit now joined with company here, back up, joining the pursuit, and here's a third unit, potentially CHP as well, about to execute a felony stop. At least I think they will try and pull up much closer behind her here. We'll see what happens here in the next few seconds. Getting back on the freeway. It's a transition road. Back onto the freeway now. It's going to put her on the 10 freeway. So two black and whites following her onto the 10 freeway off of Peck Road, now onto the westbound side of the 10 freeway. Now, obviously, we know the 10 freeway is shut down much further west of here, but we've got about 10 to 15 miles before that comes into play. So we'll see what traffic does here. The eastbound traffic is much heavier on the 10 freeway, but quite frankly, Colleen, once we get closer to downtown, all bets are off because everything was bright red brake lights as we made our way out to the east here. So she'll start to see some slowdowns if she continues westbound on the 10 freeway. But of course, as her luck would have it, right now she's got plenty of pavement at her disposal. Yeah. Yeah, she's pushing it now, upwards of 80 miles per hour with really nobody in her way here. She's got those carpool lanes to herself now, and she's using them to full advantage. She could go faster, but she's already doing about 80. And now we're going to see some more aggressive tactics by that primary unit. Not too aggressive because there are still lots of other motorists around her, but we are going to see some more pressure applied here, I think, by CHP. So Night Sun has gone away temporarily. I'm not sure if they, yeah, they're still there, just trying to keep it on her. You know, it's so, by the way, I got to tell you, Colleen, keeping that Night Sun on the suspect vehicle is much easier, or is much harder, I should say, than it looks on television. Controlling that Night Sun is really a skill, and it does take a certain amount of talent to keep that light on a fast-moving truck like this. So you'll occasionally see her dip into the darkness here, but right now they do have the Night Sun on her. It's providing tremendous assistance to those primary units, but it's also letting the other drivers around her know that something is going on. There is something that they need to be on the lookout for, maybe start bearing to the right as they see those sirens coming up from behind, and certainly they know that something is going on. Of course, in typical LA fashion, it is, of course, a high-speed pursuit. That's right.
That is right.
Yeah, it's somewhat, I think, a newer model vehicle. It's been through a little wear and tear, but you see she is accelerating here. You know, it always depends, too. If it's a stolen vehicle, the details of that theft matter because it always, of course, depends on how much fuel was in the tank when it was stolen, but it also depends on when it was stolen. Has she been driving the stolen vehicle around town for the past few days, for a week? Has it been stolen for a while? Or did that theft just happen this afternoon? We just don't know the answer to those questions. Presumably, law enforcement may have more details than we do. Certainly, it's simple enough to run the plates and find out who the proper owner of the vehicle is and what the situation is. But in any event, you now see two primary units, a primary unit and a secondary unit, I should say, as well as California Highway Patrol's helicopter pursuing from above there. So a very, very precarious situation around all of this other traffic here on the 10 freeway. And again, it's worth reiterating, the further west we go, she will eventually run into a detour, which we are well aware of. Yeah, and it also makes you wonder, you know, this all started in East LA. This has turned into basically a joyride, Colleen, to take it all the way out into, you know, out to the 605 and play those games in El Monte, trying to, you know, run from CHP up there on Peck Road, and only to get back on the 10 freeway of all freeways to head back towards downtown. It just tells you that there is no real clear destination in mind here. My money says that she is enjoying her last few miles of freedom here until that truck does indeed run out of gas and she starts to look for an opportunity to either give herself up peacefully or try and dump the vehicle some other way. It certainly is evident that she may look for an opportunity to run, considering that she came to a very long, pregnant pause under that freeway earlier. You got the impression that she was thinking about maybe getting out, dumping the vehicle. I was looking for her to come out on foot on the other side of that overpass, but she just crept along and managed to stay in the vehicle and continued the pursuit. And so, we'll see what's going through her mind. You never know what's going through somebody's mind in a case like this. Are they under the influence? Are there other factors at play here? How desperate is the individual? And of course, the big question is, if there are any other crimes associated, is this person armed, or is it only the truck that those officers are concerned with? They treat all these suspects as if they're possibly armed, of course, but do they have any intel telling them otherwise? Do they know if there were other weapons used in a previous crime? Was this a carjacking? Again, questions we just don't know the answer to yet.
We may never know the answers. I know that these Reese's are delicious.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's one of those two, presumably. She does not want to give herself up here. Now we have a third unit joining the pursuit. That's going to give them more options. But you're right. It really is one of those two things. Most likely, either there's another crime here that she's running from, or potentially in a not so great state of mind, and that could be why she's refusing to pull over here. If she's experienced at this, she may know. If she, in other words, if she's a career criminal, for example, I'm not saying she is, but if she is, then she knows the drill. She knows what's awaiting her, which could be a night in jail. But then again, it might not even be a night in jail. It may be a few hours in jail, and she could be right back on the street. So she doesn't see the need to pull over right away. She's calculating her risk, and she thinks maybe it's worth taking her chances. Maybe she can get away and avoid the arrest altogether. Already, worth reiterating, LAPD was willing enough to let this go. She tested their patience. Now she's back in their jurisdiction. So she's taken the 10 freeway back into LAPD's jurisdiction where this began. If she gets off the freeway, LAPD will be involved, and they probably won't be as gentle this time around. They won't be as willing to let her go. But right now, we should say California Highway Patrol, the primary agency here, and now we start to see that heavy, heavy traffic here on the 10 freeway coming to a stop here, or not a stop, but coming to a crawl as bumper-to-bumper traffic as she navigates the East LA interchange. Getting off. We don't know. We don't know, but look at that. She really just picked up speed there. Get off the freeway now on Mission Road at a high rate of speed. Throw up the real-time speed tracker. We see her at 50 miles per hour. She was going much faster a second ago as she tried to outrun that cop at the intersection. Again, CHP, the primary agency here. To answer your question, Colleen, we don't know who else is in the vehicle. but I sense a lot more aggression just in the last few seconds that she got off the freeway. She felt the pressure from all of that traffic. The 10 freeway was at a standstill if she stayed on it. A spike strip was not an option. A pit maneuver was not an option. And so now California Highway Patrol finds themselves back on surface streets as she navigates the LA River here. She's over the river at First Street, the First Street Bridge, heading into downtown LA.
She ain't stopping for nothing.
Using that shoulder. Yep. Look at this. Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's scary because you hear the sirens and you instinctively want to pull over to the right, but she's passing to your right, and so it just increases the risk for more collisions here. Now she's back to their left. They hear the sirens. They're pulling over to the right. You've got 3 units right behind her here, and she is in another major intersection coming up here at First Street and Hewitt Street. That's going to be another red light that she just blew through. Those 3 units going through the red with her, lights and sirens on, pedestrians crossing the street as she makes a wild left southbound turn onto Central Avenue, now in downtown LA, where the streets are much narrower, the buildings are much taller, and the pedestrian traffic is much heavier. We will see if they continue this pursuit. If the speeds continue at this rate, they may let the helicopter do the work here, but right now she is really pushing it down a pretty empty Central Avenue, but you never know when somebody's crossing the street through this part of town. We're just entering Skid Row.
Yeah, this is going on right now. Yes, sir.
Right, so that would be surveillance mode, and that is another possibility. That is an option at their disposal if they just want to not spook the person and take some of the pressure off, but continue to keep an eye on her. Many of these helicopters are equipped with infrared technology, so even though they don't have the night sun on her for our advantage, they still see a very clear image on their screens inside the cockpit of her movements. California Highway Patrol does have that technology at their disposal. Right now, those 3 pursuing officers still able to keep a solid visual. Rob, help me out really quick. Are their lights still on, or
Dude,
did they
they're
turn them
great.
off? I think they're off. So now they're following. They backed way off.
Got all
They're
that.
still following, but from a distance.
They got all the game.
Going the wrong way.
Dude,
Ooh, threading the needle here on Central Avenue, Colleen. This is scary. A lot of rush hour traffic here on a busy Central Avenue. Another intersection finally coming to a stop for the first time.
ooh,
She's behind another patrol car. Look at that.
Woo.
He doesn't even know. That's an LAPD officer. He doesn't even know. He's not even aware, I don't think.
Wait a while.
Well, here, look, passenger door, front and rear door popping open.
Yo.
A passenger stepping out of the vehicle, the driver coming out the other side. We're at Central Avenue
Bullet in
and
the back.
Olympic Boulevard. They have lots of backpacks, a dog, another dog
here
involved
we
in this
go with the
pursuit.
dogs.
And now CHP is probably, look at this, they're running through traffic with the dog. They're running through traffic with those belongings, dumping the
Go,
vehicle
baby,
in the
go.
middle of Central Avenue, now running for it along Olympic Boulevard at Central, continuing now down the sidewalk where we know for a fact law enforcement is close by. We have helicopters in the air. There are plenty of eyeballs on these 2 suspects. They will be taken down here one way or another in short order. But that dog, as you know, Colleen, is going to come into play here as they approach these 2 individuals. I suspect they probably would have already done it, but now that decision-making is made all the more complicated by that large dog.
Yo, they're gonna get pinched so quick. Come on. My co-host decided to show up. Say something. Go ahead. She's just like, yeah, nah, I'm just walking my dog. Just walking my dog. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It is all good just a week
Yeah.
ago.
No, here they come. Here they come. Here come those units, and we will see how this plays out. They're coming up ahead of her. I think they're well aware. I believe my money. Yes, that was the driver. That is the driver. It looked like, hard to tell, but it looked like a male passenger, female driver, male passenger. Both grabbed their belongings, a couple of pretty hefty backpacks and duffel bags. And I've lost a visual of the passenger, but we're going to stay right behind. Over to the left, Rob. I think she's in front of the truck. Is she under the tree? Under the tree. Okay. Behind the truck, under the tree. Behind the truck, under the tree with the dog. Here comes CHP. They're in front of her, and I don't have a good here. Is that an officer? I can't tell. That's the girl. Okay. That's the girl. She's on the phone. There's the dog. Passenger and driver together with the dog behind that truck. Here comes another black and white under the tree here. We with their guns drawn. No guns. Oh, here's the gun. Okay, weapons out, pointed directly at those suspects. And now we'll try and get a better vantage point underneath this tree. They're running. Running without the dog. Running without the dog. 2 officers in foot pursuit through traffic here on Olympic Boulevard, a very busy Olympic Boulevard. A city bus right there.
Down.
And now she's being taken down to the ground. Look at this. The driver being taken out of the ground by 2 officers, and we still have to look out for that passenger and the dog as soon as we... Okay, she's detained. Let's go ahead and just tilt up and see if we have any other activity behind that truck. I suspect they may have caught up with him as well. It was right near that tree in front of the truck. I'm not sure if there were enough units to converge there. Only those 2 patrol cars, and they may not have... the cops have the dog. An officer with the dog? For sure? Okay. We believe... So we can... Yeah. There is the passenger. Oh, it's the passenger without the... Okay, we thought it was an officer. Okay, this is the passenger. Another female. Is that a female? It's another female. So 2 females. This is the passenger.
They're gonna lock that damn dog.
Sorry. Yeah, a little bit of confusion up here. That is the passenger with the dog. She's now on the phone, and now those 2 patrol cars are right next to her. So presumably, she may be willing to give up. Something tells me she may have had enough, and she is ready and willing to give herself up here. I mean, she has plenty of opportunity to walk away. I mean, now she's walking away, but...
Mac, they gonna lock the dog up or what? What do you think?
Well,
man?
It's also worth mentioning we don't know if that person was being held against their will, if they were a willing participant in that pursuit. Those variables matter as well. But now she is indeed walking away from the scene here. Police are making their way over here. Not quite fast enough, but they are making their way over here. I can confirm that there are officers making their way back over to this area. Do you see them, Rob? I don't.
I know. I
yeah, so somebody's near that patrol car. That would be one of the officers who will likely make their way down the sidewalk here. She appears to be relatively composed here with the dog, just kind of standing by and ready to cooperate. She appears willing to cooperate. She is guilty by association. However, she has not committed any crimes that we have seen. This is, again, the passenger in that pursuit.
I'm getting kind of insulted. The dog ain't got nothing to do with this. Leave the dog out of it already. I'm right there at Paulie or whoever you are in the air. No heart. No heart. They have no love for these animals.
It's possible. Yeah, you mean just let the passenger go? It's possible. It's possible. We heard them making their way over towards her on the radio, but they have had plenty of opportunity now, and I have not seen any officers as she approaches Central and Olympic again. Those two officers are staying put with the driver, and that would coincide
Yeah,
with what you
you're
were saying,
probably right.
Colleen.
Probably right. The one they got, booked. But the other one, they might. I don't know what the situation is down there in Cali, but in PA, everybody's going to jail. Your dog's going to the pound. Everybody's done. The whole family cooked.
Yeah. They don't, but at the same time, there's a lot of other factors here. We don't, and we just don't know. We don't know. For example, is that stolen property that she's carrying? Are there any other crimes associated with this? Now, you would think by now they would have already approached her. We are told that they were trying to, but in any event, you can see her now sheltering at this McDonald's, just kind of waiting by. We still hear them on the radio trying to find their way over towards her. Here's an LAPD unit now turning the lights and sirens on in front of the McDonald's, and maybe they're going to try and approach her now. We're going to stick with this because I feel like she's going to cooperate, but I do think they do want to talk to her at the very least. You're right. She hasn't committed any major crimes that we are aware of as a passenger. She is not the driver that was breaking all those road rules. However, she still is a witness to all of this, and even if an arrest on her part is just more paperwork for those officers, she still has information at the very least to provide and help them prosecute the case against the driver. So they've got to find out at least what the situation is if they can, and even the dog, we don't even know if that's her dog even. I mean, we really don't know. Most likely her pit bull, but yeah. Here they come. LAPD now pulling
shit.
up next to her. They're going to approach,
Mac,
and
I was
she's
gonna
going
say
to
you
drop the
called it.
leash. Did she drop?
Oh,
She did
man,
drop the leash
come
for a
on.
second. This is delicate. Let's hope she cooperates here. You see, they haven't even drawn their weapons yet, so that shows you we're back into another situation, not dissimilar to the pursuit last week up in Ventura County, where there was a large dog that they had to negotiate with. Now it's a pit bull who is standing right next to what appears to be the owner, we are presuming, and those officers trying to negotiate. There are weapons drawn, but they're approaching delicately, and now she's walking away. This is not good. This is not good because now they can't see her
They're
hands.
making her,
This is not good.
they're making her chain
I
the
don't.
dog up or something.
Okay,
Yeah.
tie it up to the pole. Maybe they're asking her to
Yeah,
do
that's a
that,
good
or maybe
idea,
she's
huh? Maybe I should have
volunteering
been
to
a
do that.
newscaster. Well,
Yeah. Again,
yeah, they're all getting booked. The dogs
and they
getting
may
booked.
just talk to her. They may not even execute an arrest. They may just take her in for questioning temporarily and see what her involvement is. Unlikely, but in any event, you just don't know. You just don't know, because the fact of the matter is now, if she is taken in, now they have to call animal control or a relative and handle the animal. So at least the dog is safely tied up to the pole, and they can now talk to the owner and figure out the rest.
I agree, man. Seriously. Seriously, this could have been so horrible. Yeah. Hopefully somebody, a family member or something, will grab it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's a good analogy.
Well, thanks, pal. I didn't say anything, but thank you. Potentially, I think you might be right here. Um, again, they may just talk to her as long as she's cooperating and has a reasonable story, I guess you'd say. But it's not lost upon these officers though that these two, especially the driver, albeit, but these two put a lot of lives in danger over the course of this pursuit here. So this is not something that should be taken lightly, and they certainly don't want to make the wrong example out of them either. It's not the best practice to let suspects go, especially on live television, dare I say. But it's definitely something that requires some follow through. Even if as I said, even if it's just collecting a witness statement and giving her a citation to appear in court, it could be as simple as that. I sure hope so. It's crazy. It's a shame, man. A lot of people get hurt. Yeah, they were definitely running for something. There's a good reason they were running. Absolutely, I'm sure. Stolen car, whatever. Who knows? God only knows. Could be anything. Could be a parking ticket, bench warrant. People are nuts. People are nuts. They will run for nothing. Just to run sometimes. I don't know.
Yep, a lot of resources dedicated. They want to get to the bottom of this. It was their pursuit to begin with. Now you have California Highway Patrol handling the driver over here, but this is a mutual effort between LAPD and California Highway Patrol. Plenty of paperwork for both agencies to complete tonight, and eventually they will sort this out and decide to hand this over to a prosecutor at some point. Now, what the future holds for her
Never know.
is quite honestly an open question.
Never know.
Does she spend the night in jail, or is she basically released in short order? It really is an open question, and it's part of what motivates some of these folks who refuse to pull over for law enforcement.
Whatever it was, they definitely wanted away from that truck quick.
You got it. You got it.
Thanks. Yeah, I know I do.
That's true, and it might only be my fourth pursuit with a dog. That's good to know. Are you a dog person?
I sure am.
Good to know. It's terrible. Yeah, it is terrifying. I mean,
All right. So that's
Remember, if you ever see something like this, back off. Don't try to be a hero.
Shit. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate you guys. And I'll see you at the next horrible event. Yeah, my dog, she was bugging out the whole time. I don't know. They must feel it in the air. But I don't know. Thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. God bless all the best. Out.